up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're finally doing the second car review of the year. It only took 12 months but in case you're new to the channel, this is Hayden's 2000 Honda S2000. The original plan was going to be driving this video, but I don't have enough experience and this clutch isn't broken in yet. I'll go more over that in a minute. But if you're new to my channel, this car has been a recurring project car in the channel. It's one of like the 3 primary builds on this channel. There's my truck, which is, as I said in the video recently earlier this week, is on hiatus right now until I decide what I want to do with it. There's my dad's Mustang, which hasn't had a darn thing done to it in months. And there's this. This is the only active project car the last couple of months. Also, hidden Easter egg, if you've been watching this channel for a long time, you might notice the hoodie Hayden's wearing. If you might remember, if you've been subscribed long enough, he wore this hoodie in the first ever video he made a major appearance in, which was the driving stick video, the Genesis. And it's exactly the reason we need to bring this hoodie out. I guess we're about to get our first rip, aren't we? Maybe. This Chevy's going 2 miles an hour. Oh, this diesel wants it. This diesel wants it so bad. Bye. Adios, amigo. So, let's go over the build list a little bit. I'm going to have Hayden go over it since it is his car. What all is done to this thing?
Like 3 things. There's the headlights, there's test pipe and a cat bag.
And the clutch boy.
And a stage 2 clutch.
So the stage 2 clutch is the exact reason I'm not driving this thing for the review. The original plan for the review back when this thing was a completely stock car, he was gonna replace it in the factory clutch and we're gonna go from there, but he decided to go ahead and throw the comp stage 2 in. And all in all, it's how would you think it is? Like, how would you say it drives with a clutch?
Like a race car?
Race car status?
He's back.
He wants the sauce again. So when it comes down to Hondas, this is the car that basically gave me my respect for Honda that I have today. And the reason for that is the epitome of sports cars. Long front end, short back end, rear wheel drive, manual transmission only. I mean, this car is literally designed with the enthusiast in mind. And that's the way a lot of older Hondas were. I mean, the CRX even to an extent. The Civic, of course, had its moments. Holy crap, it's bright. The Civic had its moments where it could be considered like the epitome of enthusiast cars, but Honda really hit the nail on the head with this car. There is no other perfect Honda besides the NSX and the Type Rs. That is the S2000. This car in particular is an AP1, so if you know S2000 lingo, this was a car that was built from 2000 to I believe 2005, you said, right? 2004, 2005, somewhere in that zone. And that's where they switched to the AP2, which has the bigger motor, but doesn't rev as high. In case you did not know, the AP1 S2000 So in case you didn't know, the AP1 S2000 revs to 9,000 RPM. And that was one of my favorite things about the car when he first bought it, was that 9,000 RPM red line. Oh, he was deselling. Oh, man. The AP2 from 2004 to 2005 onward had the F22C, which was a 2.2 liter 4-cylinder. It's actually the same engine as this, but bored out slightly, and you lose 500 RPM redline. That car redlines at 85. This is a 2 liter. This is the F20C. I don't remember mentioning that a few minutes ago when I first brought in the engine. Transmission-wise, it's made into a 6-speed manual. Like we were saying earlier, the transmission of all transmissions when it comes to Honda. These transmissions are well known mainly for their shifter. The shifter is extremely short from the factory, and short throw shifters for these cars make it just almost unbearably short. And the little bit I've driven this car around when it had the factory clutch, I'll probably throw a clip of that in.
Hey, there it goes.
Hopefully it didn't kill the clutch too bad. I was going pretty slow.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
is just like perfect in every way. It sits nice and low. I mean, you've got a commanding just race car feel in this car. Even the passenger seat, like myself, I feel very, very low slung in this seat. I feel like I'm sitting in a GT3 car. The S2000, though, the one thing I do like is the interior setup. The interior setup on this car is set up exactly how most enthusiast cars, I believe, should be. And Honda hit the nail on the head of that, too. All the dials are on the dash. You know, sounds like normal. Most cars have their dials on the dash. But it's all angled towards you with an easy-to-reach movement.
It's like the Supra.
The Supra. Very good example.
Another one of my favorite cars.
Yeah. The S2000 is literally designed so every control, you don't necessarily have to take your hands off the wheel. The AC controls, you can literally just flip your hand and flip the switches with your middle finger. Same thing with the radio controls, the audio.
That's still granny shifting.
Yeah, he still hasn't hit 9 in this video yet.
That's about 7.
Yeah, I thought you hit 85.
No.
Huh.
I got about, the first gear I got to about almost 8.
Okay. From here it looks like you hit 85. I was like, dang. But this car is probably one of the best cars out there for enthusiasts that are, you know, fans of 4-cylinders or want a 2-seater roadster. I always say the S2000 is the car to go with because while the Miata is nice and cheap,
it's slow.
it's very slow and it's very small. A lot of guys like our size, we can't fit in Miatas that well. I've driven one. I can say they're fantastic. Well, I mean, I didn't really get a chance to drive it like too much, but I drove it enough to really, you know, get a feel for it. And honestly, out of the two, I prefer this car to it. And it's mainly because, one, it's a bit bigger, so I can fit in a bit better. I'm not that tall, but I'm very wide, as you guys know. Roasting myself here. But Hayden is rather tall. In fact, the seat's all the way back in this car, and his knees are still almost to the steering wheel.
It's just enough where I can fit, though.
Yeah.
It's not my daily driver, so when it got a little cramped. If you're about 6'2", it's kind of iffy.
Yeah.
Especially if you're commuting to work, sitting in traffic. You get a little cramped, gets a little claustrophobic. But if it's your weekend car,
Perfect.
It's fine.
And the catback on this system is an eBay exhaust. It's where the nickname, the Rice Out S2K, came from. Actually, it was a hood wrap. This car is a carbon fiber hood wrap, in case you didn't know. That's what gave it that nickname that a lot of people seem to hate now. I've gotten a few pretty rough comments about the fact we call this car Riced Out. And
it is.
not really anymore. I think the headlights really cleaned it up and made it a little bit less riced.
They're eBay headlights. I don't care. It's fine. I don't have thousands of dollars to spend in my car, but I'll do something here and there.
Yeah.
To make it nicer. Because it had nasty, faded headlights. You should put a picture if you have one.
Yeah. I'll probably just throw a clip in from when the car was stock, like the reveal video.
But yeah, the headlights were toast. I had to get rid of those. Even though I like the way they look a lot. They're nice. But
the new Spec Ds, though, are on point.
they're okay. Yeah, Spec D makes like good looking stuff for cheap.
Yeah.
I see you.
He's got a bow on his little brush guard.
That's cute.
So, when it comes down to it, the S2000 was one of the last great Hondas. Around this time that this car was out, the NSX was on its way out, if not gone.
What year did it end? Like 2002?
I think 2002. That's when the NSX went out of production, the Gen 1 car. The good one. The good one.
The new one's okay.
It's okay, but it's not the same. The S2000 was the last great Honda, in pretty much both of our opinions, at least first in America, until the Type R came out, the new Civic Type R. And of course the new NSX.
This is like the last car that was like Honda.
Yeah, that was, Honda's golden age, if you will. Because now all they focus on are their CVT Accords. And I mean, granted, you still have the Civic Si, which is formidable in its own right, K-Series cars all day. You still have the Type R, which is of course fantastic, minus its crappy exhaust that it comes from the factory.
They've moved to electronic, like everybody else. And that's what's so great about this. There's no traction control, so you can kill yourself whenever you want.
Yeah.
There's like just nothing to help you stay alive.
This car is literally,
The oversteer is atrocious. It'll snap out from under you. You'll slide around.
You have to have a lot of skill to drive one of these things. You have to be very careful. You know, it's one of those cars I'm surprised there isn't a lot of memes about, but I guess part of it is because of the price point these cars come in at. It's very hard for young people like 16 to 17 to buy these and drag them around and, you know, get into trouble. Because that's what made the Mustang so, like, infamous, was, like, all these kids that were young and never experienced a fast car. They were out smacking walls with these things. This car, on the other hand, is so expensive, and people are going to overlook them because of how expensive they are. And they're like, oh, I could get a Coyote for the same price. It's like a decent mileage version of this car. This car has 172K on the clock. And Hayden got this thing for, I think it's the cheapest one I've seen any S2000 go for on eBay. Not eBay, Craigslist.
Yeah.
He paid, what'd you pay for this car? If you don't mind,
$7,000.
$7,000 for this car. A typical S2000 with about the same mileage is about 8 or 9. So Hayden got a good deal, but he talked the guy down because of the clutch.
Yeah, the guy got there, the clutch was fried.
Yeah.
So that's why there's a stage 2 in it now.
Yeah. And every S2000 that you see online that has good mileage on them, this one's, it's okay, but it's kind of,
like,
it's getting high. 14 grand
plus.
I mean, these things are not cheap cars. So for Hayden to have gotten one for such a steal, and it's not in the worst shape. It did have a couple hiccups when he first got it.
It's a lot better now than it used to be.
Yeah, when he first got it was misfiring. You know, the bolts to hold the bumper on were broken. The headlights were trashed. The clutch was fried. I mean, it was a mess when he first got it.
Yeah,
but
it still needs some stuff. Like, it needs a new top.
Yeah.
But I don't drive it unless it's a nice day.
Like we have today.
Yeah. So that's like kind of last on my list. I'd like to get a hard top, but anybody with S2000 knows it's like another car.
Yeah, you could buy a Miata.
Expensive.
You could buy a Miata for the cost of a hard top.
But I love it. It's my favorite car I've had, and I've only had 3 enthusiast cars, but this was by far the best driving.
Yeah.
The best driving car.
So Hayden's car history, if you did not know, he owned a 2005 4.0 Mustang, which was his first car that he owned, that he paid for, because he had the Durango before that he borrowed from his parents until he could buy his car. And it wasn't that great.
No.
It had every single stereotypical 4.0 part problem go bad. Thermostat housings misfired like crazy. Gosh, that dude's hauling.
The Jeep thinks he's fast. That's cute. Oh, we're getting him at the red light.
Oh, yes. Oh, he's getting over. What a badge. Man, this is gonna be stupid. So then after the Mustang died eventually, ooh, WRX STI. I think that's an STI we've got. Dalton, I would get this on video for you right now, but I'm not turning this camera around for just one clip.
Oh, I don't worry about the Jeep now. Come here. Come here.
Oh gosh, he's going. He's in boost. He's out of here. Popped out a third. Hate it when that happens.
Hate it when that happens.
What?
Yeah. I don't want to like shove it in gear right now because it's a new clutch.
Yeah, you don't want to be too hard on it. But so after the 4.0 Mustang died, probably thankfully for this kid, he's probably so happy that they died. He got a 2010 Genesis 3.8, which a lot of you guys might remember. Like I was saying, if you've been watching for a while, you might remember seeing the car at one point or another. Unfortunately, that met a pretty horrible demise. We won't go too much detail. It's pretty sad. And then he got this. And like we were saying, when he first got this car, it was showing signs to be just like his Mustang was, a little pain in the balls to work on. And then it impressed us. And ironically enough, this changed my opinion on Honda and Michael's opinion on Honda. For all of you guys that know, Michael is very anti-Honda, but he likes this car. So all in all, I can say this is a pretty good car for the money. If you're going to buy a Honda, every Honda fan that I've ever met talks about how they want an S2K. Everyone says, yeah, I like my Civic, but I'd rather have an S2000. And, they're kind of starting to depreciate. Not really. I have a feeling they're just going to go back up. They're gonna fire back up in price anytime now. It's coming. That STI is nice though.
Yeah, it is.
a Mustang over there too. Oh, he's gonna go for the pass in the Subaru. That Subaru's not having it. So all in all, is this car worth it? I think so. What do you have to say about it?
Yeah, I see the reason they hold their value.
Because I've never been in a car that's so fun. And, you know, Michael's car is brute power, and that makes it fun. But this car has it all. I mean, it's got more than enough power to get out of its own way. 242 horsepower, I think you said the F20 made?
Yeah, something like it. 237.
237. So, doesn't sound that much on paper. For the weight this car is, it is extremely light. And it is actually out of the friend group that we are in, which includes a Charger Scat Pack, this car, a G35, my truck, a 3.8 Mustang, and a Mazda 3. This is the second fastest car. This torched the G35, no problem. It keeps up with the Scat Pack, which is what was surprising, up to
About 80.
illegal speeds. So there's our second $9,000 rip of the video. Man, this thing's quick. Oh, there it goes. I'm telling you guys, I see myself owning one of these one day. It's like literally one of my favorite Hondas. And I'm looking at a few cars, and the majority of them are Hondas. Like I was saying, this car really changed my opinion. So, well, that said, I'm going to wrap this up. What are you guys' 300ZX, never mind. Give us about 10 more seconds to admire the C32.
That should look good.
Man, that's nice. But I'm going to leave this question up to you guys. What are your opinions on the AP1 S2000? Would you own one? Do you know someone who owns one? And what do you think of them? Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you have a Merry Christmas. Be sure to go follow Hayden on Instagram at practice_truth. And we will catch you guys in another video very soon. See you guys soon. Nope. Wish I had some way I could like see.
Oh man, it's probably missing so bad.
What?
I said that shit's probably not even halfway pointed towards us.
I gotta see. I'm gonna check that angle. I'm gonna check this angle and see how things look. Let's see how I aim it. That's probably perfect right there. Another test recording. Tell this is going to be one of those shaky ones because this clip's broken. Seriously. Oh my god. That should be a little bit better.
Fuck.